right, travel crew, we've arrived. This is it, the source of the legendary giant growth dust for our Verdant Bloom Elixir. The air here is a dense tapestry, heavy with the scent of ancient bark, crushed chlorophyll, and damp, fertile earth. Massive, twisting flora pulses with an internal, soft azure light, casting long, dancing shadows that stretch into impossible depths. Nobi's fur is bristling, a low, guttural hum vibrating through him, his tail twitching erratically towards a shimmering patch on the forest floor. That's our cue, crew. The dust is close. With specialized tongs and a fine mesh sifter, I carefully approach the iridescent ground cover. The dust itself is an almost weightless, pearlescent particulate, feeling like dry, polished sand, yet possessing an undeniable energetic resistance. Its scent profile is incredibly intricate, a sharp, mineral tang overlaid with a sweet, almost fungal aroma that tickles the back of my throat, demanding attention. As I isolate a pure sample, a deep, resonant pressure builds behind my eyes, a familiar, silent warning from the curse. It feels like the very air is thickening, compressing against my skull, a powerful, non-olfactory reaction to the dust's raw energy. Nobi lets out a soft, warning growl, his body tensing, confirming the volatile essence of this ingredient. How do you think we'll unlock the true potential of something this potent, crew? All right, travel crew, the air here is practically humming with secrets, and I think I just found our informant. See that flicker of movement by the colossal bioluminescent ferns? A small, agile figure, skin the color of twilight, with luminous eyes and a long, swaying tail, is tending to a patch of the shimmering ground cover. "Greetings, traveler," the figure chirps, their voice like rustling leaves. "You seek the sky-reach sparkle, yes?" I nod, holding up my purified dust sample. "This sparkle," they continue, "it brings the root rush, the leaf burst, but too much, and the mind feels the sky pressure." Sky pressure. That's exactly what I'm feeling, crew. This intense, silent compression behind my eyes, now throbbing with a rhythmic pulse. The elder root, as they introduce themselves, gestures to the towering flora. The sparkle feeds the world, but it demands balance. They explain that the root rush can make a sapling touch the clouds in moments, but the sky pressure can leave a mind lost in the vastness. My head feels like it's caught between two tectonic plates, the pressure building to an almost unbearable point. Nobi lets out a sharp, distressed whine, nudging my hand. How do we harness the root rush without succumbing to the sky pressure, crew? All right, travel crew. The elder root's warning about the sky pressure led us straight to this hollow. The air here is thick with the scent of ancient, root-bound earth and a sharp, almost metallic tang that wasn't present before. Massive, gnarled roots, glowing with an internal, deep emerald light, form a protective canopy overhead, creating a pocket of intense, shimmering ground cover. Nobi's entire body is vibrating, a low, continuous growl rumbling in his chest, his gaze fixed on the most concentrated patch of sky-reach sparkle. This is where the sparkle truly lives. Using my specialized containment field and a fine mesh scoop, I carefully begin to gather the iridescent dust. As the sparkle collects, a subtle, almost imperceptible push emanates from it, a non-physical resistance that presses against my tools. The sweet, fungal aroma intensifies, now carrying an undercurrent of something vast and ancient. Like the breath of a slumbering titan, suddenly the sky pressure behind my eyes surges, a violent upward pull that feels like my consciousness is being stretched thin, threatening to snap. Nobi lets out a sharp, distressed bark, his fur standing on end, his paws scrabbling at the ground as if trying to anchor himself. The The dust isn't just growing plants, it's trying to expand me. How do we contain an ingredient that actively resists confinement by trying to unravel the mind? Crew? All right, travel crew, this Skyreach sparkle is truly something else. My containment field hums, struggling against the ingredient's relentless upward push. Nobi's low growl has become a frantic whine, his body pressed against my leg, sensing the unseen strain. The elder root warned of sky pressure, but I underestimated its mental component. I'm using my reinforced scoop, carefully sifting the iridescent dust into the field, trying to stabilize its volatile essence. The sweet, ancient aroma now carries a sharp, almost metallic tang, like ozone before a storm, signaling instability. Suddenly, a piercing crack echoes, not from the material, but from the very fabric of the containment field itself. The field shatters, not physically, but as a psychic barrier, unleashing the sparkle's raw, expansive energy directly into my mind. The sky pressure behind my eyes becomes an agonizing, tearing force, pulling my consciousness upward. Threatening to rip it from my skull, Nobi lets out a desperate yelp, scrambling to shield me, his fur sparking with residual energy, a desperate attempt to anchor me. My vision blurs, the emerald glow of the roots twisting into impossible spirals, the world tilting violently. I feel a profound, disorienting void opening within my thoughts, a terrifying emptiness where my focus should be, a complete loss of mental footing. How do we fight an ingredient that attacks the very core of our perception, crew? My mind feels like a torn sail, crew, but my hands still remember. That Skyreach sparkle just tried to unravel my very thoughts, leaving a terrifying void. Nobi's desperate yelps snap me back, anchoring me to the immediate physical world. I spot a fallen, hollowed seed pod, its interior lined with crystalline fibers resonating with a low thrum. This isn't just a container. It's a natural amplifier, a sonic resonator. With my reinforced carving tool, I quickly sculpt a precise aperture into its dense fibrous shell. I feel the wood's resistance, its internal structure guiding my blade with surprising ease. I carefully scoop the shimmering dust into the pod, focusing its expansive energy, channeling its upward push. The mental void doesn't vanish, but it shifts, becoming a focused internal pressure against the back of my skull, like a silent, insistent hum. A small, leathery-skinned figure, all eyes and quick movements, drops from a nearby vine, landing silently. They point a gnarled finger at the shimmering dust and tap their own temple. "Echo trap," they rasp, their voice like dry leaves, their gaze piercing. They gesture towards the pod, then to the sky, a knowing glint in their reflective eyes. The pod now pulses with a contained, rhythmic vibration, a counter-frequency to the sparkle's chaotic push. The air still carries that sharp, metallic tang, but it's now muted, channeled, a controlled resonance. This hum is a new constant, a permanent echo of the void, a persistent internal vibration. How do we turn this persistent internal resonance into a culinary advantage, crew? All right, travel crew, securing this giant growth dust is proving to be a true test of will. The moment I lift the seed pod, the ground where the dust once shimmered turns instantly dull, a patch of barren earth, utterly devoid of the vibrant azure glow that permeates this forest. It's like the very essence of growth has been siphoned away, leaving a silent, gaping emptiness. With my reinforced tongs, I carefully transfer the resonating dust from the seed pod into a dense, hollowed-out, petrified gourd, its interior lined with a natural fibrous insulation. The dust itself, though visually weightless, exerts a surprising, constant downward pull, a physical strain against my grip that feels far heavier than its apparent mass. The leathery-skinned figure, still perched nearby, points a gnarled finger at the barren patch. Life drain, they rasp, their reflective eyes wide. Then they tap the gourd, heavy heart. My internal hum, that persistent echo of the void, intensifies with every ounce of this ingredient's contained power, pressing against my skull with a relentless, dull ache. It feels like I'm not just holding a substance, but a fragment of pure, unyielding gravity itself. This isn't just a physical burden, crew. It's a constant, draining presence. How do we prepare an elixir when the ingredient itself saps the very vitality from its surroundings and from me? All right, travel crew, this forest is actively rejecting our presence. The moment that giant growth dust left its source, the vibrant azure light that once pulsed through these colossal trees began to dim, then flicker. Now it's fading to a dull, sickly gray. The rich, verdant aroma of chlorophyll and damp earth has been replaced by a sharp, mineral tang of desiccation and crumbling stone. Nobi's fur is standing on end, his low, guttural growl a constant vibration against my leg, warning of the ground cracking and shifting beneath our feet. This isn't just hostile terrain. The very fabric of this biome is unraveling because we took the dust. I'm navigating by instinct, my specialized boots finding purchase on the rapidly eroding pathways. Each step a calculated risk against the collapsing earth. The petrified gourd, a constant anchor of immense density, pulls at my arm, making every step a battle against its relentless downward force. Its contained power is a palpable, draining presence, intensifying that internal hum behind my eyes into a throbbing, relentless pressure that feels like my skull is compressing. Nobi suddenly lets out a sharp bark, his tail whipping towards a newly opened fissure, a plume of acrid, dry dust billowing from its depths, carrying the scent of ancient, exposed minerals. The air itself feels thinner, colder, stripped of its life-giving essence, leaving a void. This ingredient isn't just potent, crew, it's a vacuum, leaving desolation in its wake, and its pull on me is constant. How do we stabilize something that actively destabilizes its entire environment and drains my own vitality just by existing? Crew, this ingredient isn't just potent, it's alive and actively resisting purification. The colossal trees groan, their remaining gray bark flaking into brittle shards, and the ground beneath us shudders with a deep, resonant rumble. Nobi's growls are now sharp, staccato barks, his fur bristling with static electricity as he tracks the widening fissures. The air itself feels like powdered glass, dry and abrasive against my skin, carrying the scent of pulverized stone and ancient exposed minerals. I'm using my specialized heat-tempered mortar and pestle, carefully grinding the pearlescent dust, attempting to stabilize its raw, volatile energy. The dust resists, feeling like I'm crushing compressed air. Each rotation of the pestle met with a subtle, energetic pushback. As I work, the petrified gourd's draining pull intensifies, a constant, heavy anchor against my arm, making every movement a deliberate effort. The internal pressure behind my eyes now feels like a vice, tightening with each rhythmic grind, threatening to fracture my skull. A phantom acridity blooms on my tongue, not a taste, but a raw, scraping sensation that mimics a chemical burn. Then a deep, resinous pressure builds at the back of my throat, mimicking a bitter swallow, leaving a tingling numbness. This dust is fighting back, crew, trying to unravel me from the inside out. How do we refine this ingredient without it consuming us entirely or losing its power in the process? Crew, after all that struggle, the moment of truth is finally here. This purified giant growth dust, once so volatile, now sits ready for its true test. The colossal trees still pulse with their soft azure light, but their scale is about to be redefined. I take a small pinch, the pearlescent dust feeling like concentrated energy on my tongue. For a fleeting instant, a flavor blooms, a true taste, not a phantom. A burst of raw, mineral earth, sharp and invigorating, followed by an unexpected sweetness, like sun-warmed sap. Then, the world shifts. The colossal trees, once towering, now shrink beneath me, their azure glow dimming to distant sparks. Nobi, a frantic yip, becomes a tiny, bristling speck, far below, his barks echoing from an impossible distance. The air thins, carrying the scent of the entire forest floor, not just the immediate vicinity, a vast, green exhalation. My hands, once holding the dust, now feel like mountains. My fingers like ancient pillars. The ground, once solid, now feels like a vast, textured tapestry under my colossal feet. This isn't just a change in size, it's a complete recalibration of reality, exactly as the old hermit warned. The curse's pressure behind my eyes has vanished, replaced by an overwhelming clarity, a new perspective. How do we control this power, crew, and what does it mean for our recipe? Crew, that was a recalibration of reality I won't soon forget. The colossal trees, once towering, now loom again, their azure light dimming to a faint pulse. Nobi nudges my hand, his fur still electrified, a low whine confirming residual energy clinging to the air. The raw, mineral earth and sun-warmed sap, the true taste, a fleeting whisper of what I'm fighting for. I run gloved fingers over the forest floor, analyzing the subtle shift in soil density. The chlorophyll scent muted. The clarity receded, leaving a dull ache behind my eyes, now sharper, infused with the memory of taste, a phantom echo of what was briefly mine. This isn't normal. It's a new baseline, a permanent consequence of knowing what I'm missing. Nobi huffs, his nose twitching towards the now inert patch, sensing the world's exhaustion. The portal shimmers faintly, beckoning us to the next challenge. How do we chase that fleeting taste, crew, without losing ourselves to the scale of these ingredients?